In light of the Raven Credo, there are in fact three things that you need to focus on to climb up the success ladder and to become your very best self. How can you become your very best self and the person that you want and need to be to accomplish your greatest dreams? And how can you create the life of your dreams while leaving a legacy and making a positive impact on the world and the generations to come? Now, if that sounds like something you desire, then the video series I'm starting today will help you on your journey to become exceptional and, of course, to live the life of your dreams. Now, more precisely, as a neuroscientist and high-performance coach myself, I will share mindset and productivity hacks that you can apply to 10x your progress. I will also talk about my own personal past mistakes, experiences, and learnings so that you hopefully don't make these mistakes yourself. Now, before we get into that, however, first and foremost, we need to set a baseline. And that is why in episode 1 today, I will introduce you to the Raven Credo, which is a belief that no matter how you argue will guarantee your success. And in addition, also related to the Raven Credo, I will explain the only 3 success variables that you need in order to become successful in anything that you desire, no matter what it is. And besides those 3 things, basically everything else is irrelevant for success, in fact. Now, that aside, in case you don't know me, my name is Nicholas and I'm a PhD student and a neuroscientist who develops a treatment for Alzheimer's disease at Lancaster University. And in addition to that, I'm also a high performance and life coach who currently undergoes training at the Flow Research Collective, which investigates a phenomenon known as flow or the zone. Now, before we dive into the episode, into the meat, I wanted to briefly mention that I'm opening up 3 one-to-one high-performance coaching slots for you guys, and it will be 100% free of charge because I want to test out a new coaching modality. And what it means is that it will help you to get into flow on command so that you get that 500% productivity boost and 430% creativity boost that flow offers. And as a quick side note, flow is actually a state of extreme immersion in which you forget time and even yourself, because the prefrontal cortex, which is the brain area responsible for long-term planning, critical thinking, even the expression of your personality, or things such as self-doubt, is inactivated. And because, again, your prefrontal cortex is inactivated in flow, you even lose your sense of time, which is why 5 hours can feel like 5 minutes, which you might know from video gaming, for example. And also, just to consider, a 500% productivity increase means that you get 5 days of work done in a single day. That aside, flow is also the most productive and most pleasurable state in existence, and psychological research even indicates that those people who get into flow with their work the most often are also the happiest people in the world. Now, generally, if you want to know the truth about the neurobiology and psychology of happiness, I recommend you to check out the video I made a while ago. So I'll link it in the description for you guys. However, besides getting you into flow, this involves smart time and task management. In fact, if you consider one-on-one coaching with me, the free coaching, then we can also A, find clarity on your goals and what your purpose and source of internal drive is. B, we can optimize your daily routine for peak performance. Again, this will be mandatory for flow anyhow, also to give you time back. And C, we can unravel and address any limiting beliefs that hold back your true potential. And D, we can set up to 3 goals of your choice for the upcoming month. It can be whatever you desire, and I will assist you in accomplishing these goals. Now, I'll give more details at the end of the video, and all I ask for in return is that you write me a testimonial or a review at the end of our one-to-one coaching sessions. So if you're hungry, if you're serious, and if you want to reach the next level, shoot me an email email it to nicholas.p.reich@gmail.com. Just put one-to-one coaching in the email subject line, and we can schedule a 30-minute consultation meeting to discuss everything, and of course, if we are a good fit. Now, most importantly, you need to be open and willing for change. I will give you weekly assignments, and I expect that you fulfill these. Now, you don't have to be perfect. Forget about this nonsense. It doesn't matter where you are right now, in fact. But the goal is to level up. And I want to see that you're driven and that you make efforts. I want to see that you're willing to improve and that you want to reach the next level. Again, if that's the case, and if you have the burning desire to become better, then I will ensure you that we will make it work. Now, with the annoying formalities out of the way, let's get into the video. You might have noticed it on the channel banner, but I have a life rule for everlasting success that I follow myself, and it's the so-called Raven Credo that I want to pass on to you. And the Raven Credo is the firm belief that anyone can achieve any goal or dream by focusing on a single thing, which is continuous self-improvement. And from a spiritual perspective, a raven is a harbinger. It symbolizes that something is about to happen that transforms your life, and it can be both positive or negative. In other words, the raven symbolizes change. And what it means is that you get rid of character traits and beliefs that don't serve you any longer, while you adopt the traits, beliefs, and of course skills that you need to become the person that you want to be. And fitting with this, the raven also stands for cleansing, because it consumes the leftovers of other animals, while the raven also symbolizes rebirth or renewal. Now, personally, and for every reason, I remember seeing ravens when I went through some significant difficult changes in my life. For example, in fact, I used to be very timid and withdrawn in the past, and obviously to be a nice guy and a timid wimp, that sucked, and I wanted to change that. And that's why I forced myself to speak up, to just take a stance and just bluntly speak my opinion into someone's face. I even started cursing a bit back then, which of course felt very awkward at the time. So I simply tried to go out of myself as much as possible, and I messed up. I pissed off many people because I was too blunt at times, to be completely honest. But the point is, by doing it, so by speaking up, by being blunt, I got the practice that I needed. And slowly but surely, I changed. I got more confident in speaking up. And during this process of changing, I happened to notice ravens, in fact, of course, which are the spiritual symbol for change. And having this idea of ravens in my head, it combined with a growth mindset, or the idea that constant self-improvement is all that you need to become successful at literally anything. Also, to go back, I in fact had a severe case of depression in my teens, and I was pulled out of school for 4 months. They just locked me into a clinic. And honestly, lockdown, it was a joke compared to that time in my life. And do you know what snapped me out of depression? It was just a single belief. It was just the fact that I can do this better. Well, and I managed. I went back to school. I started studying. I've become a neuroscientist. And I'm here now as a high performance and life coach, again, to tell you that anyone can achieve any goal or dream by focusing on a single thing, which is continuous self-improvement. And also, the fact that an improvement-focused mindset is the key for success is backed up by psychology and neuroscience, as you will see in a second. Now, generally, the idea of a fixed and a growth mindset was coined by the psychologist and Stanford University professor Carol Dweck. Now, I will not go into detail what the difference between a fixed and a growth mindset is, but generally, Carroll's research shows that those who believe that success is not dependent on non-changeable traits, such as intelligence, but instead those people that believe that success is created by hard work, training, continuous learning, mastering challenges, and overcoming failures. Again, those people with a growth mindset, they're substantially more successful than their peers. And again, to quote her, a belief that your qualities are carved in stone leads to a host of thoughts and actions. And how a belief that the qualities can be cultivated leads to a host of different thoughts and actions, taking you down an entirely different road. Now, to give an example, a study in 7th graders found that those pupils who are taught that intelligence, or in this case math skills, are learnable, they actually ended up improving their grades over time. And in contrast, of course, the controlled group, they actually even got slightly worse over time. So basically, just believing that those pupils could become better with practice made them better. Also, interestingly enough, when these children were taught that they are smart, then they tended to develop a fixed mindset, and it made them less proficient in solving problems. This is because it encourages the idea or the belief that some kids are just smarter than others, are born with more intelligence than others. And again, if you believe that intelligence is genetic and there's nothing that you can do to become more intelligent, then you will never become more intelligent. However, on the other hand, when hard work and effort were praised, then these children tended to adopt a growth mindset, which means they learned that hard work and consistency pay off. And as a result of that, these kids, again, they were more engaged, they were more motivated, and they were more resilient, which not only gave them better grades, but again, also made them better at solving problems. In fact, you can even see these differences between a growth and a fixed mindset in the brain. And in particular, a fixed mindset is problematic because it subconsciously programs your brain to shut off when solving problems. Now, what you see here is a study with 25 undergraduate students from 2011. And as the brain scans show here, those with a growth mindset show increased brain activation in response to solving a problem on the right-hand side here. And they look at the problem so these people with a growth mindset, they looked at the problem from various angles. They also consider if they themselves made a mistake. And of course, they try to figure out a solution. So all of that increases their brain activity. So simply put, those with a growth mindset believe that there's always a way to solve a problem, and it just requires practice, brainstorming, more input, etc. to solve the issue. So eventually, those with a growth mindset will solve the problem. Again, it's just a matter of time. Now, in contrast, on the left-hand side, those with a fixed mindset showed no brain activity in this study when those undergraduate students were confronted with problems. And again, the problem here is that those students with a fixed mindset, or in general individuals with a fixed mindset, simply see problem solving as pointless. Now, more precisely, people with a limiting belief think that genetics, the environment, or other uncontrollable variables are responsible for success. They might be thinking things like, he's a lucky bastard, or this guy has better athletic genes than I have, and that's because he's faster. Or she's rich, she has rich parents, and those parents had just stuffed money into her pants, and that's why her company flourishes. So it could be thoughts like that, basically. So harshly said, people with limiting beliefs, they like to blame others or the current circumstances for their own shortcomings and lack of success, as opposed to accepting the status quo and again trying to improve from there. So those with a fixed mindset, they will stay stuck and they will basically never unleash their full potential. They don't believe that smart and hard work result in success. So what happens is what you see in the brain scan here. The brain simply conserves energy. The brain doesn't even bother to solve problems. So let it sink in. The brain of people with fixed mindsets don't even bother to solve problems because they see it as pointless. They think that effort has no meaning whatsoever. Now, overall, no matter how horrible the situation is, just remember, if you think you can, you can. Generally, if I can pull myself out of depression, study, and become a neuroscientist and a coach, then you can do whatever you desire to become your very best peak performing self as well. So all you need to do is to believe in the Raven Credo, or simply put, the fact that self-improvement is the key to unlock your grandest dreams. Also, besides standing for change, cleansing, and renewal, you also have to say the ravens are very smart creatures, and look at them. They look freaking beautiful. I mean, shades of black, gray, and some blue, and we all want to see more shades of gray, am I right? Anyhow, that said, in light of the Raven Credo, there are in fact three things that you need to focus on to climb up the success ladder and to become your very best self. The first thing would be skills. Now, skills would include hard and soft skills. It could be sales skills, time and task management, and many more things, of course. And learning skills is actually quite simple in theory, because all you need to do basically is read books, attend courses. You can even Google a how-to on YouTube online. And most importantly, just apply the knowledge. You must apply it. So learn by doing it, basically. Because the thing is, the hypocrite talks about it. The hypocrite regurgitates what other people say, but the high performer actually does it. The high performer gets better, gets more skilled, and again, then creates results. A simple example would be that I had this with video editing, for example. You can watch a million tutorials about it. I'm guilty of it. However, the best way to learn video editing is to just choose the video editing program, just film your first video with whatever crappy camera you might have, and again, then just try to edit it. That's what I did eventually. And well, my first videos, they weren't great. The audio sucks. Just to give an example, I got feedback for that, in fact. But I figured things out from there, and yeah, I eventually at least improved the audio, and I still have a lot more to learn, and I will learn it again by experimenting a little bit more and making more videos for you. Also, as a side note, perfectionism is a mortal enemy when it comes to learning skills. Now, a general rule that I follow myself and that I encourage you to follow, also to stay unstuck when it comes to learning skills, is that you need to focus on creating results. Focus on doing it. Make doing it your goal. Don't focus on making it perfect. Again, even if it's unpolished, just do it, get it out. The goal is to practice and level up your skills as you would do in a video game. So basically, if you are level 1 in the skill, then it takes some practice and applying the skill to get to level 10. And of course, there's also no shame in being on a low level because everyone starts in level 1. For example, what would happen if Jeff Bezos, he's the richest businessman in the world and the Amazon boss, by the way, what would happen if I were to put Jeff Bezos in a room with medicine students and he would have to write an exam and then look after patients? He would probably suck because he is a studied electrical engineer and computer scientist. So he probably doesn't have any medical knowledge whatsoever, and he would have to study. He would have to get hands-on experience by caring for patients in a hospital, maybe go to a private practice or help out in a pharmacy, probably for a few years, and then eventually he might become a decent doctor. So again, you need to level up your skills. If you've never done it, then you will be on level 1, obviously. If you've done it for several years, then you might be level 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever. Also, that aside, you cannot perfect what you don't do, which means you can only optimize or perfect the unpolished things that you currently do by using whatever you learn by doing these unpolished things. You understand? So you have to do it, whether you want or not. Now, the second success variable that you need to focus on is your beliefs. Now, obviously, besides happy thinking, to have a strong belief in yourself has psychological reasons that make you more successful and is also known as the Pygmalion effect or self-fulfilling prophecies. Now, your beliefs dictate how much potential you draw out of yourself and how much action you take. And in turn, other people will notice what you do, or they will notice the results that you create, and of course, they will get back to you. So you might get things like, wow, how on earth did you do that? Or on the other hand, it could also be, damn, you're such a lazy slacker. So whatever it is, positive or negative feedback, it will then get back to you and it will reinforce the beliefs that you already have about yourself or that you want to build. Also, all of your past successes, they also serve as proof for your brain to convince you of the fact that you are skilled. I mean, it's basically the belief in your skills to pull it off, and it's also called self-efficacy. If you work 6 hours every single day for several weeks in a row, then you have a lot of proof there that you can work 6 hours every day. And again, this will convince you of the fact that you are a hard worker. That's how it works. You do it, you create results, and the results will eventually convince you or form a new belief in you. Now, for example, if you are a millionaire, then making 100K a year might sound easy to you. No problem. And I'm not kidding, some extremely successful high performance and businessmen out there even get bored at times because everything feels easy to them. Let's just say if you make 1 million a month, for example, then making 100K would be a joke in comparison. Again, you have built this belief. The millionaire knows he earns 1 million a month. So again, 100K would be a joke for him. He has a strong belief that he can easily do that. On the other hand, if you think that you can't do it or that you are not good enough, then you will never be successful because again, you won't draw out your inner potential. You won't take the action that you need to create the results. Now, generally, to quote Peter Diamandis, who was named as one of the world's 50 greatest leaders by the business magazine Fortune, he said that if you think you can, or if you think you can't, well, you are right. And again, Peter is spot on. Beliefs are, in fact, typically what holds most people back, and chances are high that you have limiting subconscious beliefs. I had a lot of them myself, and I probably still have. And you ought to keep going and to keep growing requires that you untangle those limiting beliefs as you go. For example, uh, let's go for dating. If you want to talk to a beautiful lady in a bar, but you subconsciously believe that you're average, that you're not smart enough, that you're not handsome enough, then you will act accordingly. You will be nervous and timid. You will put her on a pedestal, and you might be overly nice and stiff, again, because you don't want to appear weird. You might even get needy, clingy, or jealous, so you won't get very far with this type of behavior. Now, unconscious, if you see yourself as confident and, of course, as a gentleman, then you will act completely different. You will be more relaxed. Again, you are confident in yourself. You won't be afraid to say stupid things because you might also have options. Just call someone else if this doesn't work out. Also, will confidently share your opinion and you will speak your mind. You will treat her like a lady. Again, confidence in yourself. You will be more flirty, you will be more outgoing, and of course, you will be more likely to make a move, to make things happen. So once again, your beliefs dictate how much potential you draw out of yourself and how much action you take. Also, I made an entire video about how you can reveal subconscious limiting beliefs and of course reprogram your mind to adopt empowering beliefs that support taking action. It could be, for example, an empowering belief such as I am confident, I got this, things like that. So again, check it out if you're interested. Video link in the description. Now, on to the third success variable that you need to focus on, which is character traits. Now, of course, there are many desirable character traits that you want to adopt. You name it, basically. And I listed a few here that are crucial for success. And it could be persistence, of course, grit or mental toughness. Then, of course, discipline, which means that you make a plan and that you stick to this plan, no matter how you feel. Then, of course, focus, and that means focus on a single thing, which includes the ability, again, to stick with it, to withstand temptations and shiny objects, and to just go follow through with this one single thing that you have chosen. Then we have patience, because again, success usually requires that you do the same 4 or 5 things for years and months to come until you're eventually successful. That's also why most people are not successful, because they just don't spend the time, or they don't spend long enough or stick long enough with a thing. Then we have indifference. Indifference is related to stoicism, and it means that you simply accept whatever happens to you and you don't let it mess with your mind. So if something goes wrong, again, you simply stay unbothered by it. Then, of course, other things would be your ability to take risks. Proactivity, you make things happen by making them happen, basically, etc. So there are many more. And the point here is that strong character traits are important because they will allow you to execute the skills that you learn that you need for success in the long term. For example, you can be the most skilled businessman in the world, but again, if you're not disciplined enough and you slack off regularly, you will never get a fruitful business built. Or alternatively, if you don't have the grit to keep going when it gets hard, or you lose a lot of money, for example, in response to a recession, then your productivity might drop because you're demotivated. You don't have the grit to keep pushing, or you might even throw in the towel. So, as an overall example, one that I like to cite, in fact, or to quote, is learning a language. Now, if you are extremely disciplined, again, a desirable character trait, then you might learn a language for 30 minutes every single day without fail for a full year, which would mean that you get in 182.5 hours of learning this language. Then you might combine this with better skills. For example, you learn to pronounce the words better. And you combine this with the positive belief that talking in front of native speakers or giving a business presentation in another language is a piece of cake, then you will crush it. Now, generally, what you find is that you will be more advanced in some of these 3 things, skills, beliefs, or character traits, than in the other. And this can be compared to a ladder. Let's simply call it the success ladder. For example, the left bar of the ladder represents your skills, the right one your character traits, and the ladder rungs, they're your beliefs. And basically, you can only climb this ladder up if all 3 things, that means skills, character traits, and beliefs, are in place. And what this means is that your weakest link, of course, holds you back. You can build up your skills, you can build up your character traits, but again, if the beliefs are missing, then you won't be able to climb up the ladder. And again, once you bring up everything, skills, the accompanying empowering beliefs, and the character traits, which both allow you to execute your skills and stick with it in the long term, then you might actually get one of those so-called overnight successes. And what happens here is not that you suddenly get successful out of nowhere, but what means that you brought up the missing link on the success ladder. To give you an example, as I mentioned in a recent video about how I solved every problem as a neuroscientist, again, link in the description if you're interested, I made 0, and I mean 0, progress in the gym as a powerlifter for 4 years straight. But one day, it just clicked. I already had the character traits, such as discipline, so I never missed a single workout. I had persistence, which means that I stuck with it for 4 years without making any progress after all. Obviously, I had grit, so I was used to pushing hard. And likewise, I had the beliefs. I was watching powerlifting videos on YouTube, in fact, that gave me the belief that as a novice lifter, you can hit a 100 kilogram bench press, a 140 kilogram squat, and a 180 kilogram deadlift in a single year. So you can pretty much make 66% of your lifetime muscle gains and progress, again, in a single year. So I had this belief, I knew it was possible in my mind and my head. But there was one thing missing, and it was skills. I was certain that I could pull it off, but I didn't know that my body only responded to very high caloric intake. So what it means is that I didn't experiment enough, and I didn't have the skill of calorie management. And well, basically the moment I got so pissed off that I ate 600 to 1000 calories over my needs every single day, my strength exploded. So I literally added 32.5 kilograms to my squats in 4 months, but I made zero progress over the last 4 years. However, what has to be said is in those 4 years I made zero progress. I basically built up everything else. I built up the character traits, I built up the beliefs that I needed, and again, all that I had to bring up was the left side of the success ladder, or in other words, my skills. And with that, you now have everything that you need to be successful. Now follow the Raven Credo, which means 2 things. First, you have the belief that you can accomplish anything by focusing on a single thing, which is never-ending self-improvement. And there's always a way to do it better, in fact. And second is that you have the incredible ability to change, as symbolic for the Raven, so you can get rid of character traits and limiting beliefs that don't serve you any longer, while you can, by doing it in fact, adopt the skills, character traits and beliefs that you desire and that you need to become the person that is capable of reaching your dreams. And once you get all of the 3 success variables right, which is skills, character traits and beliefs, you will make explosive progress and you will keep climbing up the success ladder. I know that you can do it because all you need to do is to be a little bit better every single day, every week, every month, and every year. And even if it's just 1%, it will add up and it will make you great. So that brings us to the end. And if you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe to make our army of high performers grow. And also, as I mentioned in the beginning, I am opening up 3 one-to-one high performance coaching slots to get you into flow, which is the most productive and fulfilled state in existence. And it won't cost you a single penny. And again, all I ask for is a testimonial at the end. And besides flow, we can also find and define your goals, purpose, and meaning in life. We can optimize your routine for peak performance so that you become more productive and that you win time back for yourself, for traveling, or whatever else you desire. Then we can tackle and annihilate those limiting beliefs that hold you back. And we can accomplish 3 specific goals of your choice in the next month to come. And of course, if that is of interest to you, and if you are driven, and if you want to get to the next level, then just shoot me an email at niklas.p.reich@gmail.com. And again, just put please one-to-one coaching in email subject line, and we can have a 30-minute consultation meeting to figure things out from there. And with that, that concludes the video. Thank you for watching High Performance, and all that's left to say is to keep growing, take off, conquer the world, and become the very best version of yourself. Now have a great week and see you in the next video.